Welcome to Decorating a Mountain Lot. This is part 1. Today we'll create a 3D public space in Egowall. The space is large, so the portion I'll tackle today is an area I'm going to decorate as a kid's playroom. If you want to see the end result, you can go to the public space right now by clicking the link in the description below. Egowall is a 3D game you play in your web browser. The experience revolves around customizing and decorating living spaces using 3D models, custom materials, and photos you upload. By archiving your photos and decorating homes on Egowall, you can showcase your life's memories and achievements, and connect with friends and family. Our hope is that you'll create and share living spaces that illustrate the real you. When you come to egowall.com, you'll need to register for a free account, then log in. Let's go ahead and log in now. So part of what I'm going to do today is walk you through sort of the steps that I take when I'm decorating a space, as well as just be able to show you exactly how it works. When you load into your Egowall account, the first place you're going to go is your default living space. This happens to be my default living space. It's a bowling alley that I created. Today, since we're going to be building something else, I'm going to go ahead and buy that. You can buy living spaces by accessing our menu down here at the bottom. Click on Shop, filter it by living spaces, and then you can select from any of the spaces that you see down here. And today I'm going to go with a mountain lot. Once I've bought it, go to my living spaces, and there it is. Click on it, there it is. This is the floor plan of the space that I just bought, and we'll go ahead and go in. So this is the default setup for the mountain lot. You've got a little bit of furniture, some industrial textures, you've got some nice wood paneling. Over the course of this video series, I'm going to just redo this entire space. So this will give you an idea of what it looks like to begin with. What we're going to build today is a sort of a play area, the kind of area where you would have your toys set up, maybe a TV. The parents would shove the kids over here. The kids would maybe want to go here to get away from the parents. So for that area I've chosen is this central back area. I'm going to fly mode by pressing F, and I can just fly over there. And I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this stuff. I'm going to rebox it, which puts it back into my inventory, and I can use it later if I want to. The first step I take when I'm decorating a space in Egowall is I think about, what it's going to look like, what I want to share. Am I recreating a real space? Am I making something up? The sky's sort of the limit with these. And so today with the kid space, I looked at some images of what would a mother put together to make a playroom? What would a kid want? And I sort of have this idea in my head of what those two things would be. So before I got started, I went ahead and I picked out some furniture pieces and some fun stuff that kids would like. And I also just got an idea in my head of what colors I'd want to use on the walls for paint. And an Egowall in our customization tool, I can select any wall, change the color. We've got a lot of colors to choose from, and I think I'll pick sandal. No, that's a little too dark. I'm going to go with mustard. And for these wooden walls, I'm going to go with mustard again on this one. But as you see, it just colored the wood. I don't really want that, so I'm going to go over here to material, and this opens up the material menu within our customization menu. And I'm going to go ahead and just make these all plaster. I can use white for that. There's several different choices for basic plaster. And on this one, I think I'm going to do some contrast, maybe a dark plaster. And I'll go back in my colors, and Empire Night's nice. So there's some good contrast between the two. The floor, it's a little cold for a play area, maybe like something that would be in your den. This is a concrete texture, so I'm going to select that and then go to my materials and change it just to one of these wood floors. I'm going to go with something a little bit lighter. Actually, I'm going to end up, I really like this, so I'm going to keep with this. Now, since I've already gathered some furniture, I'm going to go ahead and just lay out sort of an initial idea of what this room's going to be. I'm going to raise up in the air. I'm still in fly mode, so I can use comma and period to go up and down. And it just lets me float around the room. And I'm going to go into my furniture menu and just kind of lay a few things out. I selected some items I thought would go well in a space like this. Some things that you might need, because I'm assuming that I'm going to have, if it's going to be a cool play area, you have to have toys. You have to have some furniture to store some of the toys. You're going to have, hopefully, if you're lucky, maybe even a TV. So I've got a couple of those things picked out here. We'll just go down the list here. I really like the idea of being able to grab any of these pieces really quickly, throw them out into my world, and just see what happens. And if I don't like them, I can rebox them, put them back in my inventory. I can change any of this at any time. Now, if you see me rotating these furniture pieces around, that's because I'm using the R button, and that just lets you quickly rotate whichever piece you're holding. And that's already getting a little full, but let me back up and see what else we have here. There's going to be some babysitter that's going to have to sit here and guard the kids, and they get the uncomfortable chair. to try this black one real quick just to see what it looks like. I kind of like that, but I'm not sure, so I'm actually going to move it out of the way and maybe put it back later. If not, I'll just toss it away later. Here we go. So something I know a lot of parents are going to put into play area is shelving. So those are just kind of thrown in there for now, and I can fine-tune where they're going to be placed in a little bit. I'm going to keep fleshing out the space with more pieces just so I can get an idea of how everything feels. These display shelves, so I may put something on these later. I'm just going to put them on the wall, and you can see we have this grid which will appear on any surface that you're trying to align an object with. So as I move the mouse around, that grid's going to move, and if the object does not belong on that surface, the object will be highlighted in red. So it's really easy to know what you can and can't do and align things. There's some decor. I'm going to come back and put some more decor later, but I'll go ahead and put the flowers out here. Let's go on down to construction. I added a few things that I wanted to put here. Number one, I had an idea for just sort of decorating this large wall with a couple of these pieces. And that's normally something you'd see on the outside of a house, but sometimes it's interesting just to do new things. And then I may come back to this later. There's some pieces in there we might use. I've also got some pictures. They're stored in these containers. And I'll go ahead and put this one in the room somewhere where we won't forget it, because we're going to be using that a little bit later to put pictures on the wall. And sometimes you'll see somebody's got maybe a dad who likes to mess around in the garage, or a kid that gets really handy with tools and they build some sort of weird furniture contraption. So that's what this is. I'm just sort of repurposing it. So I can easily just rotate that. And I think I'll end up using it sort of like a seat. There we go. Next thing I'll put in is some rugs. Go back to my furniture. And I'll try this green one. It's kind of a funny green. I didn't think I would like it, but I kind of do, so I'm going to leave it for now. And I know I'm going to have to move it, so I'll leave it, and then in just a minute we'll move that back. Let's go ahead and add some more stuff that kids would like. For this one, I assume that it's like sort of a brother and sister, and they convinced their parents that they liked jungles a lot. So we have a lot of jungle furniture. And they've got even a campfire. Tree stumps. And we can already see I'm going to have to move all this stuff. So I'll put it over here. And I may end up just getting rid of it because the space is going to get filled pretty quickly. But as I said, the nice thing with Egowall is that you can just use it however you'd like, and if you don't like something, you just take it away. Let's get this big thing in here. This is a jungle hut. And I'm going to go ahead and put it here. So we'll move our stools. And we'll just back it up right there. Pull our couch out. And put this is where I wanted it to end up. Right there. And pull these guys out of the way. Kids' side of the room is going to have some of the more fun stuff, the outrageous stuff. We've got trophies for the wall. Some more jungle furniture. And some tables. I'm going to go ahead and move my original piece. I think I'm going to end up having my TV set up on this side. Put a few accessories out here. Beanbag. And there is a sister in the picture, so maybe she's got a mirror. And she left her princess crown next to the pith hat. Maybe a doll house. And she's got her own toy chest too. So we filled the space up pretty quickly. It's looking a little bit messy. And so we're going to go ahead, I'm going to put some of these away. And let's go ahead and clean the room up so that the composition is a little bit nicer. This guy, I think, just has to go. And let's get into this area, because one thing with these bookshelves is that we can actually scale them so I can make them fit really more of how I want them to fit into the scene rather than just dealing with the initial constraints that I've got. And I like these little soft blocks in our reading area. There might be a few too many, but that's okay. And next up, I'm going to alter these, because I feel like maybe they're a little bit too big. And maybe I'll have something special to put on them in a little bit. Okay, so that's a little bit cleaner. Go ahead and move this guy right into the middle of the room. I think that's pretty cool. That makes a statement. And with our rotate tool, I can hit a 45-degree angle with that little button right there, which helps to speed up moving this exactly where I want it. I think I'm ready to put my TV in, which I may end up bringing those chairs back for. I haven't forgotten about this guy. I'm just going to move him out of the way before I decide what to ultimately do with him. So I'll come back to my menu and I'll go to, let's see, electronics within our contemporary theme. And I've already got a fair bit of hardware here. I'm going to use 27-inch TV. And put in like a receiver, cable box. Of course, need to get some consoles and other things like that, but maybe these kids are into gaming on PC, so they've got a laptop. Maybe they put their laptop over here. And maybe they get the remote control. Over here. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to go put some pillows in these bookshelves. Maybe a few other items. Let's see. that's a little bit mismatched. I'm going to get rid of this one. And I'll put this one. That's much better. And get back to my bookshelves here. I'm actually going to fill it with blocks. Cool thing with these blocks is that you can actually put pictures on them, which is super simple. You just open up your container. This is that container I put here earlier. It's filled with images, and I just grab one of these, I'll say this, and just put it on a surface. So I think I'll put it on surface, maybe this one. There we go. And so there it is. And this is probably a good time to go ahead and add some more pictures to the walls in general. So I'll go back here to my container, open that up, and I'll just start hanging these on the wall. And I may come back and customize some of these frames in just a minute. I think we need a few more in the blocks. Maybe a cool mushroom picture over by this jungle area. Go ahead and hold off for now because I'm gonna customize a couple of frames to make this a little bit more unique. You can set the frame itself, the color. You can also scale the entire picture as well as the mat inside. Back up. Looks good. I'm going to make this one smaller. Do a couple over here. Let's go back to my container and grab an available picture. Pretty cool. I'll go with that triple. And the mushroom one is off, so I'm going to go ahead and line it with this dude. Still haven't found something to do with these shelves, so let's go back into my furniture and see if there's anything we can put there. Well, those aren't something for the shelves, but I always like to add little details like this. These are little light switches, plugs, fixtures in general. Stuff you'd expect to have in your house. Trash can here for when it's time to clean up. And I think I want to add in those black chairs that I took out. So I'll go back here. And just add these right back in. Okay, so there you go. That's looking good. So I never figured out anything to put on these shelves, and I think I'm just going to take them away for now. It's very easy to add them back if I want to. But there is something that would be cool, which is a little bit of maybe a partition here. Just move this in a little bit. And I'm gonna put in, let's go to the shop and we'll go ahead and buy another piece, because this one's gonna be more of a barrier between the kids area and the rest of the space. So I'm gonna go ahead and come back to construction. And I'm gonna get this one. The blonde wood will match directly with this wood. In a later video I may change this wood color, I'm not sure. But for now, this sort of becomes a nice partition. And if I wanted to, I could do one here. I won't do that for now. But you see where this could go, where you're just sort of dividing up the space. And that's about it. So the next thing that I'll do is actually make this space public. With Egowall, you can set any of your spaces to be public, which allows anyone to come visit them. You can also share them with other Egowall users, and you can make certain areas private. You can make the whole space private except for between you and a couple of friends. So there's really a lot of options as for sharing your living space. I'll just come up here to the map, and if I push E to edit, I'll give it a name. This is the mountain lot with kids. playroom and come down here and set as public space and save it. So that makes the space public. Now if I want to share that with my friends or my family, I just come up here to the social interaction button. I can copy the link. I can send it to friends and family I have on Egowall. I can share it to different social networks. That wraps it up for our playroom area. You can check out the space right now by clicking on the link below. You'll be able to navigate around in the space and sign up for a free account. We'll be updating the rest of this public space in future videos. I hope you liked this first video in our series on decorating a mountain lot. If you did, please click like below and subscribe to our channel.